Yo, what's up everybody? Jumpin' here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the Cabal Vanguard. I tend to call her the Turian Vanguard because I always want to say Cabal or Cabal, but I think it's Cabal. Alright, so the weapon I recommend is going to be the Rigger Carbine. I think this is probably the best weapon for her just because I like to play with the Nightshade blades. I think they're the best thing. So you want to get in really close range for that power, so you need a weapon to force you to do that. And the Rigger Carbine forces you to get in close range. Now you can use any weapon you want on her, but I personally think the Rigger Carbine is the best because I like to play her like the Batarian Soldier. Alright, so for Poison Strike, I don't have Poison Strike. I actually spec out of it. And I think a lot of you guys might be disappointed by that. But I will go ahead and explain all this in the gameplay, so I won't sit here and tell you why I don't go for it. You'll just have to wait. Now for the Nightshade blades, I like damage. This thing gets a ton of damage. Range is always good, 22-meter range. It seems like a lie though, honestly. And I like the enhanced blades. They're really good. I mean, look at the damage, 2,700 with 122 poison damage. Now, exploding blades are good. I'm not gonna say they're not, but I play her like the Batarian Soldier. And I don't really think I need exploding blades because with the Rigger Carbine, I tend to kill all the enemies before the blades actually will explode. So to me, I feel like it's a waste. Enhanced blade is just good because it just helps against the annoying enemies. Now for Biotic Focus, I like the damage taken, duration. Duration is great, 20 seconds. That's really good. And then Biotic Shield. This power, or this thing right here, is really amazing. It's a lot like Adrenaline Rush in the sense that it will, well, restore some shields. But the difference is that you can spam this power, and you don't have to wait for the duration to go away. It also gives you a couple seconds, or not a couple seconds, but a 0.5 of a second of invincibility. So that is something to remember. Now for Turian Veteran, I go for damage and capacity. I think that's a pretty solid choice. Power damage for the blades primarily, and damage and stability. She does get a good amount of weapons damage like all Turians. Now for the fitness, I honestly just go for all shields. Melees with her are good, but I just don't think I want a melee, honestly. Alright, now for the equipment, I'm using Incendiary Rounds 3, Shotgun Rail Amp 2, Grenade Capacity 5, and Adrenaline Mod 3. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Alright guys, this is going to be the gameplay. It's going to be on Hydra versus Cerberus. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this Cabal Vanguard, or the Turian Vanguard. Now the first thing you guys might be wondering is, hey Jumpin', why no Poison Strike? To answer that simply, I would say, I just don't understand how the power works, honestly. I really don't. I can't even say if it's good, I can't say it's bad. I can honestly just say, I don't really understand it. So you guys can comment all you want about this, but it just seems to me that so many people are conflicted over this. And it's a shame, that's for sure. And I say that because I do go on the clan website quite a bit. And if any of you guys are not a part of the clan, or you are not signed up to my clan website, feel free to go ahead and sign up. Anybody can join. I'll put the link in the description to the clan website, so definitely check it out. It is a nice tool to be able to find players to play with on any platform. I mean PC, PS3, or Xbox, you can find players and play with them. But when I go on there, what I've noticed is that it seems like so many people are divided over Poison Strike. There's some people on there saying that it's so good and it's almost overpowered. And then other players are saying that it's totally worthless or they can't figure it out. So it just seems like there's a big divide there. Now maybe some players have figured it out and they have been able to make it really, really good. I don't really know though. I tried it. I played one whole game with it. Then I spec'd out of it, honestly. I mean, that's just the way it was. I really did. I spec'd out of it. Because after just one game, I felt like I didn't do anything. And I used it so much, and it just did not work. It was super confusing. So when I looked at her for a second time, I realized, hey, wait a minute. She reminds me a lot of the Batarian Soldier. And I absolutely love the Batarian Soldier. He's one of my favorite characters in this game of all time. Especially when he first came out. When he first came out, he was by far my favorite. Then they nerfed him and they changed him a little bit. And I wouldn't say he's my favorite anymore, but he is still really good. And she's a lot like him. In fact, I kind of think she's definitely a lot better than him now. I mean, he was so good when he first came out, though. But she's like really, really good. But Poison Strike, it's just confusing, honestly. It just seems like so many people are conflicted over this. They don't understand it. I can honestly say I don't really understand it. I know that when I use it, I can poison enemies. But the poison DPS is really kind of low. It seems like my teammates are able to kill all the enemies way before my poison does. So, I mean, I just don't know, man. From the people I've talked to, it seems like the majority of the people also, well, they don't like Poison Strike either. I mean, I haven't talked to anyone who actually likes it, but I know that people do. I've seen it in comments, I've seen it on the forums and stuff, so... Oh, you know what though? I kind of forgot to bring this up. And this is really important. When I was playing with it, I did notice one thing. And that was that it is such a good power for detonating explosions. I was playing with some guy with arc grenades and I got him so many tech bursts, it was insane. So I would imagine that this would work on every other explosion. Cryo, fire, biotic, all that. So, in that aspect, I can see a lot of potential. And maybe that's what people are talking about. Maybe it's just such a really good power for doing detonations because you can like do it twice. I mean, I don't really know though. So that's the way I'm feeling about it right now. And honestly, the most disappointing thing, it's a Turian Vanguard with no charge. Why couldn't they just give her charge? And I know some of you guys might comment and say, well, jump in, you know, they probably wanted to make it a little different. Yeah, that's fine. But if you're going to make anything different, don't do it on Vanguards and don't do it on Infiltrators. The reason why is because if you look at every Infiltrator in this game, every single one, they all have Cloak. If you look at every Vanguard besides her, they all have Charge. So, I don't understand why they decided not to include Charge on her. Vanguards are Vanguards because they charge in. Infiltrators are Infiltrators because they cloak and they are sneaky. That's it. So, Poison Strike is a little bit like Charge, but it's not the power. If she would have had Charge, she would have been potentially my favorite Vanguard in this game, I think. Just with the combination of her Nightshade Blades. If you can't tell, I absolutely love Nightshade Blade. With the combination of that and Charge, I think that she would have been one of the best, if not potentially the best Vanguard in this game. But anyway, she is still really good. I like the way I play with her. I play with her just like the Batarian Soldier. And I know a lot of you guys might be disappointed. You probably was wanting to see Poison Strike in action. I apologize, but the way I play this game is my way. I like to play my style. And what fits my style is, well, running in close range, using a Rieger carbine, fucking enemies up with the shotgun, and I can use this really good new power, which is Nightshade Blade. I love Nightshade Blade. I think it's amazing. It's a lot like Ballistic Blade. It is. But it's definitely a lot different too. The main thing is that it's a grenade. It's not a power you can just sit there and keep using. But it actually is like a lot stronger than the Ballistic Blade. It's like literally twice as strong. And it's really good against most smaller enemies. Against Cerberus, it is amazing. And against Geth, it is really good. But I will say one thing. I don't really find Nightshade Blade to be all that useful against Reapers and Collectors. The reason why I say that is because Reapers and Collectors have some really big armored enemies. And it just seems like against really fat, bulky armor enemies, it's not as effective. Now you should have been able to see that just a moment ago when I shot 5 of them at the Atlas, and it really didn't do that much damage. Now I know that it poisons the boss, and the weird thing is I've seen people say, oh man, Nightshade Blade is so good against the bosses. I don't see it, because it poisons them, yes. I think the DPS will stack, but it doesn't really kill them all that fast. Still, even if you shoot like 10 of them at the boss, it just feels like it takes quite a while to actually kill the boss. And with Reapers and Collectors, there's enemies like Brutes, Scions, and they have their bosses, and those enemies, well, they actually take a ton of damage. So the Nightshade Blade doesn't really work that well against them. So when I play with her, I think I'm gonna try to stick to Geth and Cerberus. So that's what I would probably recommend. And if you're gonna use a Rigger Carbine, you know, that also plays into that whole, you know, it's not gonna be that effective against, well, Reapers and Collectors because of all the armor. But you know, guys, you can use any weapon you want. I recommend the Rigger Carbine just because, why not? I mean, if you're gonna be trying to play her anything like this, you definitely want to get in close range, almost point blank range. Rigger Carbine forces you to do that. Like, if you want to shoot the enemy, you have to run point blank. So what I like to do with her is that I'll run up to the enemy and I'll use my Nightshade Blade, especially against like enemies like Phantoms. It really works well against Phantoms and Dragoons, Pyros and Hunters and all that. And yeah, you do like a really good amount of damage, and you can shoot them with your Rigger Carbine. I also highly recommend incendiary ammo when you play with her. The reason why I recommend that is because you'll get the poison damage and you'll get the DPS from the fire. If you combine the 2 DPSs, man, even if you don't kill them and you just run away from them, they die so freaking fast. It's really crazy. Anyway though, let's go ahead and talk about her other big power, Biotic Focus. I wanted to say something real quick though before I start talking about that power, and that is, this is going to be wave 7, and this wave is like insane. It really is. The reason why is because, if you don't know, Hydra is such a difficult map against Cerberus. Now I'm not saying it's impossible or super hard, but it's definitely one of the hardest maps versus Cerberus and Geth. Reason why is because the majority of the map is really open. The whole courtyard area is super open. Now there's the one side of the map that's really closed off, you get a lot of cover and all that. That's fantastic, but if you ever find yourself trying to run through the middle of the map against things like Cerberus and Geth, which have, you know, they have a lot of range. Anything with a lot of range will just mess you up. So you have to keep that in mind. The other thing about Cerberus is that they can throw down these freaking turrets. In wave 7, I think they throw 4 combat engineers at you on gold, so it can be kind of a nightmare. And there was so many turrets, it was ridiculous. Like, I have killed, I mean, there's like, I think, so many turrets up here on the top, and there was like 5 or 6 on the bottom. My teammates were complaining. So there, I mean, the total amount of turrets this wave that we dealt with was probably around like 11 or 10. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. Now let's go ahead and talk about Biotic Focus. I love this new power, I really do. It reminds me a little bit of Shield Boost, but you know, and a lot of you guys say, well, you know, I love Biotic Focus, but I don't like the Volases. I don't like the Volases because they're Volases. It's nothing to do with the Shield Boost. I think Shield Boost is amazing. I wish they would put that on something a little different. My problem with the Volases is that they don't really have a lot of offensive power. At least that's what it feels like. So, with her, like, she gets a power somewhat like Shield Boost. It's not as good as Shield Boost, but she gets a power somewhat like that, but she still gets a lot of offensive power. Like, if you have the Rigger Carbine on her, and if you have these Nightshade Blades, it's pretty freaking good, that's for sure. So, I mean, the things that the Focus does. Focus gives you damage protection. Awesome. It gives you better movement speed. That's great, especially if you're going to try to run in with a shotgun or a Rigger Carbine. It's fantastic. It gives you 40% of your shields back. Now that's the part that is amazing. The reason why is because it's somewhat like Adrenaline Rush, and it's somewhat like Shield Boost. The main difference between Adrenaline Rush and Biotic Focus is, well, Adrenaline Rush you actually have to wait for the duration. With the Focus power, you don't have to wait for it. You can spam it. Kind of like Shield Boost to get your shields back just a little bit. So it really helps her stay alive. I mean, it's really good. Shield Boost is a lot like it as well, but the difference is that with Shield Boost you actually have to do an animation. With the Focus power there is no animation. You just simply use it and it automatically is applied. So what that means is that you can actually be able to like be shooting the enemy, and if you're shooting the enemy's shooting you, you can focus, the enemy can't. So you normally will win that battle. So in general, I think the power is amazing. I love it. I really do. It also gives you a little bit like a 0.5 seconds of invulnerability. So if you can time like certain attacks, especially from bosses like the Atlas Rocket or Warp, you can really walk away with like literally no damage from those attacks. And those attacks are pretty easy to time. Other attacks from like phantoms and stuff, not really. But that 0.5 seconds also can really help you like if you're about to die, because like I said, if you're shooting an enemy and the enemy is shooting back at you, you use Focus, the enemies aren't going to do any damage to you for half of a second. That can really help you stay alive. It's pretty awesome in general. I like it a lot. Now, one thing I will say is that I'm not saying she's flimsy. She's not. She's actually pretty beefy. She's like every other Turian. Turians are somewhat beefy. But I don't have a cyclonic on this game. In fact, I don't have any cyclonics. My equipment is just totally fucked. I just don't play this game enough to actually like really stock up on the equipment. And when I do play this game, I generally get on just to record a video or something. And then if my computer freezes or my capture card messes up, which happens all the time, I end up wasting equipment and all that, so that plays into it. But anyway, yeah, so I don't have any cyclonics. But if you can actually strap on a cyclonic 3 or a 4 to her, she is a lot more effective. Just primarily because I actually was able to use her with a cyclonic 3 a couple times, and when I was actually able to do that, I had no problem staying alive. In fact, I don't even think I died, because just being able to restore that little amount of shields will save your life so much. So I absolutely love Focus. So pretty much the way I would like judge her is this. I don't understand Poison Strike, and I'm not saying it's a bad power. In fact, it does some good stuff as of right now that I know of, which is detonating explosions. It is one of the best powers in the game for detonating explosions. There's no question in my mind right now. It is super good. But, like I said, outside of that, I don't really understand the power all that much. And you guys can go ahead and comment, although I predict this, that half the comments to this video are going to be, jump in, you know, the Poison Strike is really good, here's how you use it, I love it, blah blah blah. The other half of the comments I think are going to be, I don't understand Poison Strike either, I think it's stupid, I can't get it to work. So that's my prediction on the matter, honestly. So just please go ahead and comment away. Now I really wish BioWare would have made this power a lot different. I wish they would have went ahead and just made it so that when you used the power, you actually felt like you were doing something. Because that's my problem with it, and I think that's the problem that a lot of people are having with it. They use the power, and they feel like it's not doing anything. So they will tend to want to just spec out of it and not use the power and try something different. So hopefully, maybe BioWare can fix that, so that when you use the power, you feel like you're doing damage, you feel like you're hitting targets, whatever. I doubt it though, because for that to happen, they probably would have to have a patch or something. So as of right now, I don't really know. I don't know how to feel about Poison Strike. I don't really understand it. I know it's good at detonating explosions, but I want to know what you guys think, honestly. So please go ahead and comment all you want about this. And if you're one of these players who feel that Poison Strike is a really good power and you absolutely love it, then please leave a comment and tell us why you feel that way and how are you playing with it, because I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people, they want to know. So that would be great. Alright guys, so this is the extraction wave and we are almost finished. It was kind of a nightmare run, that's for sure. We had a little bit of problems, especially with all the damn turrets. But now one thing I wanted to say as well, I don't know who I'm going to do next. I may do the Krogan Warlord, or I could also do the Talon. I think a lot of people are wanting me to do the Talon because, well, people just don't really like that guy too much. His trip mine is really good, guys, it is, but his arrows are a little so-so. So, I don't really know. We'll just have to see. Now, you guys can comment all you want, and maybe that can help persuade me, and, you know, let me know what you want to see. But, this is pretty much going to be it. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, will you please like and favorite my video for me? I always appreciate that. Also, check out the clan website. If you want to sign up for that, you can. But besides all that, guys, have a very nice day.